You are unique. You are you. Remember that. You might look similar, but Allah has chosen a totally different path. When I say a totally different path, I'm not talking of religion and so forth. I'm talking of your path of life. You're going to go, you're going to perhaps get married, your circumstances may be different, you will have children, you may not have children. Take it in your stride. Keep asking Allah for what you want and what is beneficial for you. Keep asking Allah to give you what you would like to have. But remember, ultimately, He may not give it to you. Your dua does not go to waste. People say, why should I call out to Allah? And it sounds like a valid statement. Listen to it. It sounds like a valid statement. People say, why should I call out to Allah for something when it is already decreed whether I'm going to have it or not? Whoa, did you hear that? Isn't it decreed that I am going to have X, Y, and Z in my life? What's the point of asking Allah when it's already decreed? Because it was part of the decree that you were going to call Allah, call out to Him, and as a result, He was going to give you that. You see the point? People say, why should I seek forgiveness when it's already written that I'm going to go to heaven or hell? The reality is because you don't know. If I ask you, where are you going, guys? Put up your hand if you guys are going to hell. No one. You see? What makes you so sure you're going to heaven? Can I tell you what makes you so sure? What makes me so sure? I have a Lord who's forgiving. I have a Lord who's kind, who's merciful. I'm trying to develop a relationship with Him. I try hard. I falter sometimes. It's okay. But I keep seeking forgiveness from Him. And I know He's kind and merciful. Therefore, I'm convinced, inshallah, He's going to look at me with the eye of mercy. Wow. Now you're talking. Okay? I'm convinced by the will of Allah that He's going to have mercy on me. And I pray He's going to forgive my shortcomings. I admit. That's why Sayyidul Istighfar is one of the most powerful du'as or statements of seeking forgiveness. Allahumma anta rabbi. Oh Allah, you are my Lord. La ilaha illa anta. There is none worthy of worship besides you. Khalaqtani. You made me. Wa ana abduka. And I am your slave. Wa ana ala ahdika wa wa'dika mastata'tu. I am upon your covenant, your promise, to the best of my ability. Abu'u laka bi ni'matika alayya. I admit without denying a single favor of yours upon me. Wa abu'u bi dhanbi. And I admit my sin. I'm acknowledging I'm sinful. I've made the sins. Faghfirli, so forgive me. Fa innahu la yaghfiru dhunuba illa ant. Because there is no one besides you who forgives sins. That dua is known as Sayyidul Istighfar, the leader of the seeking of forgiveness. Subhanallah. So these words are powerful. Learn them. When you go home, you can search Sayyidul Istighfar and learn those words and repeat them to Allah with conviction every day. Oh Allah, forgive me. And I've admitted you've gifted me with so much. You've blessed me with so much, and I admit that I was wrong and I committed sins. Sins I know, sins I don't know. I was saying moments ago, two types of sin. One is the minor. The minor is forgiven just by you doing good deeds. But the major, you need to seek specific forgiveness. Oh Allah, I did this specific sin. I regret it. I will not do it again. Forgive me. Oh, conditions are met. What's the conditions? The conditions: you admit, regret, seek forgiveness of Allah, and promise not to do it again. The first question that people ask is, what if later I did it again? It's a common question because obviously we're human. The answer is, for as long as at the time you were seeking forgiveness, you had it in your heart that you're not going to do it again. Later on, if human nature made you falter the second time, don't let shaitan trap you further by making you think, well, you know what, that means I'm not genuine in my tawbah and in seeking forgiveness, so maybe I should not seek forgiveness of Allah. Allah knows your future. Ultimate success for you and I is actually the success of the hereafter. Things are turning upside down. Don't become depressed. Keep on making the dhikr of Allah. Bala in tasbiru wa tattaqu. Allah promises all the time in the Quran, if you have two qualities, you don't need to worry. Sabr and taqwa. That's it. Bear patience.
Be good to your wives, be good to your family, go to your family, let them smile. That is a resource that is priceless. What did it cost you to go to your wife, to smile at her and tell her, you know what, I appreciate everything you do. May Allah give you Jannah. Wallahi, when she is so happy, Allah will be happy too. Because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ says, the best from amongst you are those who are best to their wives. Can you not do that with your children, with your siblings? Talk to them nicely. Say a word that they will not forget. They will remember. That is priceless. It didn't cost you anything. See the rahmah and the mercy of Allah descend upon you in your life. Allah will facilitate for you so much of goodness. May Allah grant us all goodness. May Allah open our doors, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive our shortcomings. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to help one another. Be there for your brothers and sisters when they are suffering a loss, even if it is just by moral support. Even if it is just by a good word. Sometimes the weakness we have is when we hear someone had a loss, we say, good, he deserved it. It's about time. That's a bit rough for a mu'min. Don't say that. You heard someone suffered a loss, say, may Allah make it easy for him. Minimum you should say. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive us. May He make it easy for all those who are struggling and suffering across the globe. أقول قولي هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد. Many of us complain about not having a good house. Sometimes, we're looking for another house. It's never big enough. It's never spacious enough. And so on. Many of us complain about wealth and money. We don't have enough. So there is a sunnah dua of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is narrated in Sunan al-Tirmidhi as well as Musnad al-Imam Ahmad. The hadith is mentioning this dua. Allahumma ghfirli dhanbi. Oh Allah, forgive my sin. Wa wasi'li fi dari. And grant me a spaciousness in my home. That means grant me contentment, make my home such that I am happy in it, the house and the home, both of them, which means the living as well as those I live with and the conditions I'm living in. Make me content, make me happy, make it broad enough, make it spacious enough so that I'm not looking for something else when I'm in my home. It's sufficient for me. وَبَارِكْ لِي فِي رِزْقِي, and grant me blessings in my wealth. Now, if we think about the blessings in the wealth, we will come to realize that these blessings are not necessarily an amount, but rather what happens with the amount that we have. So when I say, oh Allah, bless me in my wealth, it doesn't mean, oh Allah, give me more and more and more and more, but oh Allah, let there be barakah, blessings to the degree that whatever I have is more than enough, sufficient for me. And I still have excess. It's amazing because a person who has $1,000 a week, for example, which is quite a good salary, a person who has $1,000 a week in a first world country, right? If their expenses are such that they cannot make ends meet and that's not enough for them, then they become people who might have a big figure, but they're never content and there is no blessing in it. In a short space of time, it's over, it's finished. But a person who might have less in figures, but yet when they buy, they find that mashallah they have change, they have a lot of money that is still remaining with them, they're happy, they're smiling. That is called barakah. That is the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when we are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings in wealth, we're actually asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the goodness of being able to spend in the most beneficial way. We've got the bargains, we've got the good deals, and we're happy. The quality of the product is really good. If you buy a product and there's no blessing in it, it could be expensive, but it will be damaged in one day, broken in the same day. But if sometimes you might buy a product that's a little bit cheaper, and who knows, it could last for you for 10, 20 years. That is barakah. That's the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that is also a very, very good dua. I want to repeat it. Allahumma ghfir li dhanbi, wa wasi' fi dari, wa barik li fi rizqi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the barakah and the blessings of this, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala really open our doors.